Caleb Williams, he's the best off-script quarterback prospect we've ever seen, and he is the closest thing film-wise to what Patrick Mahomes did in college. And I'm not saying he's going to be Patrick Mahomes. I'm saying when you watch this guy play and you say, what quarterback does this look like? Keep in mind, he's playing against college players and not NFL guys yet, and we'll see if it translates. But this is the closest thing we've seen to how Mahomes plays the quarterback position coming out ever. And that's just a fact. I know the historic quote of him saying that I can do all the things that Patrick Mahomes can do. Very arrogant. A lot of people didn't like that, right. But he wasn't far off, because in what he was doing in college was a lot of the things we see Mahomes do in the league. Now there's levels to this, but yeah, we'll see how he translates. But he is very special off script. This first play, he makes a guy gets beat. The offensive lineman gets beat right away. He's got to make something happen. He does. Then he steps up, understands to scan the field back to the left. Receiver does a scramble drill, turns up towards the sideline, and then he places this up over the underneath defender, but settles the receiver down so he doesn't get hit by the safety who's playing over the top deep. This is way harder than it looks. He makes stuff like this look easy, and he makes off-script plays look scripted. I think that's the biggest thing with Caleb Williams, and really all these guys Lincoln Riley's coached. He's the next guy in line, right? You've had the Jalen Hurts, you've had the Kyler Murray, you've had the Baker Mayfield. All those guys had great college careers and have done pretty damn good in the pros. For what situations they've been given, and it's because they practice this stuff and they are comfortable in uncomfortable situations. And I think Lincoln Riley does a great job. He's the quarterback guru for college football, and Cliff Kingsbury obviously is a part of that as well. This, I think, so people you want to talk about character issues with Caleb Williams, right? Maybe an ego, the painting of the fingernails, the F Utah stuff. I think all that stuff's over the top and weird, but listen, you make throws like this, paint your fingernails. I don't care. Do whatever the hell you want to do. If you make plays like this, you can do whatever you want to do, in my opinion, because there's nobody else that can do this. Pump fake, freezes a guy, gets outside, escapes the contain, and then on the run, before he goes out of bounds, is able to throw this thing to a scrambling receiver with perfect over-the-shoulder accuracy.
It's crazy.
And I will say, Josh Allen, I did a film breakdown in Aliens of the Week this year, made a play just like this against the Chiefs in the regular season, where he was about to go out of bounds. People thought he was just going to throw it away or step out of bounds, and all of a sudden he puts the ball perfectly in play to a scrambling receiver. It takes a special type of guy to do this, and Caleb Williams does this stuff consistently over and over again, and has done it for 2 seasons in a row. Did it at Oklahoma as well.
Crazy.
Stepping up in the pocket here.
This one's nuts.
Yeah, so he's on the right hash. He steps up in the pocket, gets blitzed, right? The defender is left on an island, and you would think that he threw this thing with absolute, just completely normal form, like just a nice, easy pitch and catch. From the right hash to outside of the numbers up the left sideline, he puts this thing over the receiver's shoulder on a fade ball. He threw this thing off 1 foot. He threw this thing while jumping. This is a 50, 55-yard pass, perfectly placed. And it's again, things that are tough to coach guys to do, and he makes it happen consistently. You want to blitz this guy and leave guys down the field, he makes one guy miss, and it's a problem. And you see that happen all the time with guys like Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, guys that can make your pressure fail. Now you're vulnerable on the back end, and they make you pay when you do that.
This one's also nuts. I think anybody that watches sports Twitter, like at all, you've probably seen this play about a half dozen times anyways.
So when I watched this play live, John, interestingly enough, I think this is actually planned for him to roll right and then go back left like that. Because I think it's a planned throwback route just based on the timing of it, but it doesn't take away the fact that how incredibly difficult this play is and how easy he makes it look. So you make it look like it's going to be like a quarterback sweep or sprint right. He turns and he throws this back shoulder. I think it's intentionally called a back shoulder here. Turns, sets his feet, flips his hips, and then literally flick of the wrist puts this thing perfectly. You're looking at a 35, 40-yard throw.
Crazy.
Back shoulder with pinpoint accuracy. You guys see it. You guys watch it. A lot of people will hate on Caleb Williams. He's getting a lot of shit right now for God knows what reason. People just like to hate, top prospects for whatever reason. He's one of the best quarterbacks, if not the best quarterback in this draft. You cannot argue it.
This one's hilarious.
This is the definition of off script. Drops the snap, right? Drops the snap. most quarterbacks are going to just fall on this. They're going to pick it up and throw it out of bounds. They're going to pick it up and do something stupid, like throw an interception. Like, we've seen it happen. Even Patrick Mahomes does, I've seen this happen to Mahomes, and he makes the wrong decision, takes a sack, trying to extend the play instead of just getting on it. He picks up a fumbled snap, sets his feet while taking a hit, and throws the thing 50 yards down the field for a touchdown, a bomb.
I mean, if you could just pause it, like, right here, right, and say, what do you think the result of this play is about to be? And then obviously turns it around into a touchdown. It's ridiculous. That's
he is a special talent.
Would you say that this is okay? Like, things just fell perfectly into place for this to happen, and he honestly should have fallen on that just based, or like, is there cause for concern there? Again, like, I'm always worried about quarterbacks trying to play superhero a little too often. If people hear me say annoying stuff like that in reference to NFL quarterbacks sometimes, like, I feel like at an NFL level, maybe, that edge rusher is fast enough, or the linebacker blitzing is fast enough, and he actually is able to get on that ball before Williams is able to pick it up and throw it or something like that. Like, is this a bad habit that in this case wasn't punished in this particular case?
Yeah, I think you're going to ask a lot. If you're as good as Caleb Williams is, and some of these star quarterbacks, they get a lot put on their plate, right? And it's interesting because you see so many guys that end up being great pros that maybe don't have like outstanding statistical college careers. One of the guys we're going to get into here, J.J. McCarthy, shortly, he's a guy that doesn't have amazing stats. He didn't put up ridiculous numbers. Guy won games, and he did what his team needed, and what was best for Michigan was not to throw the ball 40, 50 times a game like USC did. There's different ways to win football games, and for USC, for most of his time there, and even at Oklahoma, it was the Caleb Williams has to be special and has to be Superman show. And that is a formula that will win you games, but it can also cost you at times because he's human. He might look like a superhero at times, but he is human. He's going to make mistakes. He's going to have off days. I think the Notre Dame game this year is one big one to look at where, he didn't bring his A game.
Right. Sorry, last play here for Williams. Slow it down, get rid of audio.
I'm going to send you
that
one more.
That fake pitch is ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm going to send you one more play, too, so we'll have two more plays for him.
All right,
There's one that I think is his best college play. This is, again, they coach you not to do this, especially in the red zone. Like, you're rolling right on a play action. Your two primary receivers are not there. It's not open. Arizona plays this well. And you come to your third last progression across the field, crossing route, and you just throw a laser while jumping. And you put it, notice where he puts this ball, up and high, where it's safe, right? Worst thing that happens here is it's 3rd and goal. You're on the 2-yard line, right? Understanding worst thing that happens is this goes over the receiver's head and it's incomplete. Give your guy a chance to make an incredible play, but there's no risk here. The defender's not going to get to it. You know what I mean? So the problem is if he throws this ball low, it's picked, or the guy has a chance to pick it. But because of the placement and the accuracy and the velocity he chooses to throw this thing with, the worst thing that was going to happen here is incompletion. Your team comes out and kicks a field goal, or you go for it on 4th and 2. The worst thing he could do here was misthrow this, and then it's a pick, and you turn the ball over on the 2-yard line. That is a no-no. That is a gigantic no-no. Loses you games, especially in the NFL. You cannot get away with stuff like that.
And here's that other play that Mark was talking about.
Yeah, so this, like, as we were talking about it, and this will be posted, but John, this is the best play I think he had in his career, and this was in his first career start at Oklahoma. This is his coming out party. This was like when the world was put on notice about what this kid can do. This is in one of the biggest rivalries in college football. Steps up in the pocket and throws this thing 50-plus yards, back shoulder to the pylon. Like, when they talk about throwing the ball to the pylon, you cannot place this ball any better than where he placed it. And again, this is his first career start. Steps up, throws this thing, I think it's 55 yards. Back shoulder.
Nuts.
My guy can get it. Your guy can't. Give receivers a chance to make a play. He consistently does that. He's one of the best down the field extending the play guys we've seen in a very long time. And in the NFL, coaches they're gonna love that because they see that and they say, okay, he can do all that stuff. This is stuff that's hard to coach. But if he struggles with, on script plays, I can get him right. I can coach him. I can fix him. Right? It's like that. It's a coach's ego thing. It's a GM's ego thing. They see the star power that he has, and then they see some of the errors that he has on just a down-to-down basis, maybe some of the character flaws that people are talking about, and they think, okay, I can transform that into a Patrick Mahomes because that's absolutely what everybody thinks he could be. And I agree. I really do think that his ceiling is Patrick Mahomes, like talent-wise. I don't know if he's got the same mentality, but how he plays football, the way that, the skills he has, looks a lot like Patrick Mahomes. You can't even deny it.